Hello and welcome to this web-based tutorial featuring our new upgrade to eExpense, also known by some as Apptricity. We are very happy to have upgraded from version 4 to version 6. You will see many things have changed, namely the appearance and of course the functionality, which we feel is much more intuitive. One thing that hasn't changed is the method of sign-in. You'll still put in your UTLN and your Tufts University password for your credentials. Welcome to the landing page. If preparing a report for another, you'll need to change your role. At the very top right of the page, you'll see your name. Hover over it and then select Login As. Select the traveler's name, then click the OK button, and when the screen refreshes, you'll now see that there's two names at the top. To reverse, do the same thing. Hover, go to Login As, and instead click Login as Myself, and it will go back to your name only as the person who maybe traveled or the one who incurred the expense. Keep in mind that Tufts Support Services is happy to prepare travel and business reports for you should you decide that's the best option. On this main screen, you will see there are two primary sections that I'll describe to you. In the section on the right, you'll see yellow file folders. These are reports that you currently have open. Open is defined as started but not submitted, or pending due to an error, such as a report being denied and needing attention, then resubmission. If you don't have any reports open, this area will be completely blank. But for those who travel a lot and have numerous reports open, they're all in one spot. Click on any of the tabs to open. As you can see, note that there's one with an exclamation point in the red circle. That's one with an error. So for example, that report has been denied by an approver. Person would want to be sure to double click on that report, see what the issue is, make a correction, and then resubmit. This cog symbol will allow you to view a report in full or delete a report. If you choose delete report, all of the out-of-pocket transactions and credit card transactions revert back to the unassigned expense list. And speaking of unassigned expense list, that is what is on the left-hand side of the page. In the current version of eExpense, you'd have to go to the unassigned expense tab to see this information, but with this new version, it's one of the first things you see. Be sure to scroll down and take note of the page arrows, because what you see is not all of what you may have. You'll see, for example, I have 5 pages worth. So I can either go to page 5, or I can scroll down and go to other pages throughout. You will notice that most of the unassigned expenses have a red error icon, which is that red circle with the exclamation point. The error will not go away until the item has been classified with an account number and/or type of expense, and perhaps even a debt ID or grant. Please note that you can't assign an expense with an error message until it's been resolved. I'll try to do this example for you. I'm going to take this, bring it over here in a drag and drop, and I'm going to get a message that says that one or more items in error state cannot be assigned to the report, which is exactly what it should be. So let's get rid of one of these errors. I'm going to double click on that and then scroll down. I'm going to choose my category. Make sure I have an account number chosen. Make sure I have a DEP ID or a grant chosen. I don't need a business purpose because I didn't choose miscellaneous. And before I click Save and Close, I want to bring your attention to the receipts. I can upload a receipt at any time and it will be put into my in-bin. You can have in-bin receipts sitting for other expense reports, not just for the one you're doing. If I need a receipt, I'll cross over and then drop in a receipt there. Remember that receipts are not required if the expense is less than $50 and the university card has been used. This is new to the travel policy. However, the IRS requires receipts for lodging, no matter how much the charge. If I wanted to upload another receipt, I simply click Upload, find something here that we can use. And now it's going to put it into my in-bin, right here at the bottom. If I'm finished with this now, I can click Save and Close. And that $55 charge, when the screen refreshes, should have the exclamation point gone and a notation by this symbol that a receipt has been uploaded. For each set of expenses for a trip, you may want to consider classifying them all before moving to a report, but it's personal preference. If I take this $55 charge, which is dated 5/15, and I bring it to drag and drop into this last report, I should get an error message. Why? Because it's telling me that one or more items is outside of the date range. It asks you, should you continue without expanding the date range of the report? And that's your choice, yes or no. So if it needs to have the adjustment made, it will let you proceed on. If not, you can click no, and then you can add it to the one that is more appropriate. If by chance you click and drag the wrong receipt and have made a mistake, highlight that mistake, use the cog symbol, and choose delete. So let's try this, which has a 3/21 date. So I'll move this one here. Let me open this first. I'm going to move that into here. And then I realize, oops, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to double click on the folder to open it up in its entirety. Scroll down, and I'm going to find my 35-cent transaction, highlight it, and then use the cog to remove. Are you sure you want to remove? Yes. It'll take it away from this report, and the screen should refresh, and then it will allow you to go back and it will be back into the unassigned expenses. To open a brand new expense report, you can go to Add New Report. When I click on that, you'll be prompted to complete the yellow header area. This is a requirement. So I'm going to put to go on the trip to the conference, something very generic. There's a space for grant explanation, just as in the current version. where you must explain how it's associated with the research of the grant. I'm going to select a purpose. Destination, say Sacramento, CA. And now if I want to just save the header, I can click Save. And you'll see it says Success. And you'll also see that I have a new report. Now, I have a new report, but I didn't do anything with the dates. So I'm going to need to reopen that and adjust my dates accordingly, which I failed to do in the first place. So I'm going to say through May 31st. Scroll all the way down and save my changes. If I want to put in an out-of-pocket expense, I can do add a new expense item. Scroll down, will allow me to put in an out-of-pocket. I'll select breakfast and say it was $15. Choose an account. I already have a debt ID listed. And I will click Save. Now, I do need to bring over a receipt. Why? Because even though it's less than $15, I didn't use the card. This is an out-of-pocket expense. So therefore, I still need the receipt. And I'll save and close. And now I have that item into my report. If this happened to be the only item and I wanted to add an ad hoc approver before submitting, I could do that with this button at the bottom. I could also delete the report, print the report, close the report. I could also submit. It'll ask me then if I'm in compliance with university policies, procedures, and sponsored funded agreements. I'll say yes. And now you can see when I go back to the main page that I have one report under submitted reports and ready to go. This concludes the basic training for Apptricity version 6.1. If you would like training in other facets of Apptricity, such as splitting charges, mileage reimbursement, or use of per diem, please watch those other videos. Thank you very much for your time in watching this particular web-based tutorial.